Excuse me. It having reached the hour of 5:30, I am calling the August 23rd, 2022 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Ricky.
Present.
Councilmember Canoyer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Here.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Here.
Councilmember Madrigal. Councilmember Madrigal.
Just a moment, he's bouncing around. It's at the very top. No, it's
I see him on Zoom. Councilmember Madrigal. And Mayor Zwellen.
Hold on. I think he's just getting...
Here. Tony here.
Great, and Mayor Zwellen.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and followed by the invocation from Anthony Vargas from the Center Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome.
Thank you. Let us pray. God, this evening we thank you for both the opportunity and responsibility that we have to promote a collaborative spirit for the well-being of communities in the city of Modesto. I pray that you would grant our city council members wisdom in any decision being made throughout this evening, and that everyone speaking this evening would carry themselves in such a way as to promote a spirit of humility and a collaborative spirit. We thank you, God, for blessing the city of Modesto. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. A written comment was received for item 17 and forwarded to the council.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest? I do not see any in person or online. Will the city attorney please report out on closed session?
Yes, Mayor. The closed session actually will continue after the regular meeting ends. It's been adjourned to after the meeting. And did want to make a note on the closed session. The closed session agenda does list the Cauchy Brothers versus City of Modesto. That was added by mistake. That's not being discussed by the city council. So the closed session has been continued to after the meeting.
Thank you. Next is acknowledgements and presentations. The first is a presentation of proclamation declaring August 26th as Women's Equality Day. And I will read the proclamation. Women's Equality Day, celebrated every August 26th, commemorates the passage of women's suffrage in the U.S. and reminds us of the hurdles overcome by the heroic women who faced violence and discrimination to propel the women's movement forward. Women in the United States have continuously worked to gain full rights and privileges, public or private, legal or institutional, as citizens of the United States. And women in every state and every cultural and religious group worked to secure women's rights to vote. Congress has designated August 26th, the date the 19th Amendment was certified, as Women's Equality Day, and recognizing Women's Equality Day as a day of celebration throughout the country emphasizes the importance of women's work for democracy. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Modesto City Council will commemorate Women's Equality Day, August 26th, as a national day celebrating the importance of the women's suffrage movement and the work to secure and expand equal rights today. I would like to welcome our representatives tonight, is particularly Julie Fogstead, Vice President of the League of Women Voters of Stanislaus County. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Zwellen.
On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Stanislaus County, I thank you for this proclamation honoring Women's Equality Day. The League was founded in 1920 by a group of women suffragists immediately following passage of the 19th Amendment. We were founded to educate women as voters and to continue to fight for what we believe is right. The League has since expanded its membership to include men, and we continue to fight for issues we have studied. We want to have a strong democracy with informed and active participation by and for everyone. Again, thank you for this proclamation.
You're welcome. We appreciate you being here, and we will, do we have any remarks from council members? I see Councilmember Canoyer on here, but I think that was probably left from last time. All right, so we will step down and present the proclamation with you as a council and take a photo. All right. Next item. Item 2, presentation of proclamation proclaiming September 17th, 2022 as National Cleanup Day. I will read the proclamation. National Cleanup Day recognizes the need to protect the health and beauty of our city and our nation. And Modesto takes great pride in its beautiful public spaces, community engagement, volunteerism, and partnerships with local organizations and businesses. A cleaner environment promotes positive community values, property values, and the economic vitality of Modesto. And National Cleanup Day aligns with the goals and ambitions of the City of Modesto's Blight Abatement Strategy 2025 and is supported by the Blight Abatement Advisory Committee and falls under the city's Modesto Mo Beautiful engagement campaign. National Cleanup Day encourages pride in our community and is a bridge to citizen engagement. Now therefore be it resolved that the Modesto City Council does hereby proclaim September 17th, 2022 as National Cleanup Day and encourages all residents, businesses, civic groups, government agencies, and other organizations to participate by helping clean and beautify our community. Accepting this proclamation will be Rosine Salmo, our Integrated Waste Program Manager. Welcome.
Thank you for your time this evening. And I invite all of you to participate in the Modesto Mo Beautiful Cleanup Day that is happening on Saturday, September 17 from 8 a.m. to noon. Modesto Cleanup Day is about much more than picking up trash and litter. It's a chance for Californians to join people around the world in expressing their respect to our earth, and a chance to come together with neighbors, family, and friends to accomplish something vital, and worthy on behalf of our environment. Together, we can keep Modesto more beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, we will present this to you. All right, next is item 3, presentation of proclamation proclaiming September 2022 as National Suicide Prevention and Action Month. September is known globally as Suicide Prevention Month, and it was created to raise the visibility of the mental health resources and suicide prevention services available in our communities. According to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death among adults and the second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 and 34 in the United States. And more than 48,000 people died by suicide across the United States each year, with an average of 132 suicides daily. And each and every suicide directly impacts a minimum of 100 additional people, including family, friends, coworkers, neighbors, and community members. And the City of Modesto publicly places its full support behind those who work in the fields of mental health, education, and law enforcement, and global organizations like Hope for the Day, and our local mental health partners such as NAMI, which is the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill, who serve on the front lines of an illness many still refuse to discuss, as stigma regarding suicide and mental health issues is far too prevalent. And we encourage all residents to take the time to understand the importance of mental health education and recognize that taking care of ourselves and others includes taking care of mental health. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Modesto City Council does hereby proclaim the month of September 2022 as National Suicide Prevention and Action Month in the City of Modesto. To accept this proclamation, we have Darlene Thomas. Okay, Darlene Thomas, Board President of NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Welcome, Darlene.
Thank you. I don't have anything to say.
You don't have any comments. Well, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
We're grateful that you took the time this evening to join us, and we will step down and present the proclamation to you.
Mayor,
for
if I
picture.
might say a
Sure,
word.
absolutely.
Thank you. I just would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to, and I know that there's a national effort to promote a new phone line, 988. It's similar to 911, and it's available to anyone, including those in Modesto, who have a need to call this number for mental health or a situation such as dealing with suicide. So that's a somewhat easy number to remember, 988. I know the city has made a great stride in putting it in social media, so it's out there. So for more information, check our Facebook page. Again, 988.
Thank you. Any other comments from council members? Seeing none at this time, we will present you with the proclamation. You're very welcome. All right. I do have to admit, item 4 was a bit of a surprise for me. Apparently, this is a presentation to me, Mayor Zwollen, from the Modesto Composite MTB race team, the Dust Devils, for their appreciation of my attendance at the inaugural youth mountain bike race that I attended in April. It is so delightful to see you here this evening. Thank you so much for being here. My understanding is that Darren Jesberg, who is their head coach, will be making a statement. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Zwollen, council members, staff. I appreciate the opportunity tonight to be here. My name is Darren Jesberg. I'm the head coach for the Modesto Composite Interscholastic Mountain Bike Race Team. And Modesto is known for a lot of things, not necessarily outdoor recreation or mountain biking specifically, but last April we changed that. We put Modesto on the map in a positive light, and with Mayor Zwollen's help and many staff members with the City of Modesto, we put a mountain bike race on here. We hosted hundreds of families that came to Modesto, to our community, from all over the region, as far away as San Luis Obispo, throughout the Bay Area, Hayward, Oakland, Berkeley, and San Francisco. And we put on a number of races in Gateway Park. If you're familiar with Gateway Park, it's a bunch of blighted area that's been cleaned up and prepared for outdoor recreation. And we plan on doing more races there in the future. As a matter of fact, the NorCal League that we are chartered with, they want to put at least 2 races on in 2023. Word got around to other teams around California that Modesto had a really nice community downtown area and trail system. They want to come experience it. So we're going to hopefully put that on this year, and hopefully you guys come back out and experience it. You're all invited to come out to the race in February this year. We're race number 1 this year in our series. It'll be in February sometime, and I'll post the dates. So thanks again. I'm going to yield my time to our team captain, senior from Enox High School, Jonah McKinney. You ready? Okay.
All right. Welcome.
Good evening. On behalf of the Modesto Dust Devils, Modesto Composite Dust Devils, we would like to present you with this team photo to show our appreciation for your attendance of the opening ceremony of the first ever cross-country mountain bike race in Modesto.
Well, thank you very much. Should I join you?
Please.
All right, I did want to make a couple of comments, and I cannot let this go, that Darren Jesberg, who also serves as our deputy fire chief, I might add, for the city of Modesto, and Chris Guptill, who is here, have singularly taken the responsibility to clean up the area that this event was able to happen in. 10 years, I believe, if not longer. They have organized our community to make that area what it is so that this event could take place. So I just did not want that to get by without mentioning that. And it is so delightful to have all of you here this evening. Thank you so much. Right. All righty. Next, we will, item 5, consider accepting the resignation of Sarah Kashefi from the city's Blight Abatement Advisory Committee. Does the council have any questions of staff? Open to the public for item 5. All right, I do not see anyone in person or online. Any council comments?
Move to accept.
All right, I have a motion to accept this resolution accepting the resignation of Sarah Kashefi from the City of Modesto Blight Abatement Advisory Committee. And a second, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye. So it carries 6-0. Next is public comment period. This is for items not on the council agenda. So each person has 3 minutes to speak. I have several cards here and some people online also. Is there anyone else that's wishing to come forward to speak under public comment? Okay, I have your card, so if I haven't read your name from a card, okay, would you like to step forward first?
because the situation, the other people were given 4 to 6 minutes to speak. I would also like the same, so I'm not discriminated against under Title II, Title III of the ADA. So I'm here. I'll bring my paper. I sent a request in, and I read it. Both city and the city mayor's office and through the ADA counselor that I've been seeking, and everybody knows, for the last 18 months to try to get a meeting with the council, yet nobody is honoring my request. And after a while, it becomes an ADA violation, civil rights violation. Now, I'm here to ask the city council, why do you run and hide like I'm a light bulb, like everything does in the kitchen in the poor neighborhood when you turn on the lights? Nobody is talking to me. You are required under constitutional rights to speak to me. I've requested a meeting and it's all been denied. It's wrong. To forward me to a lady who lies to me on documents. I got documents that prove that the repairs claimed by both the Public Works Department and or other, and your HR manager sends out these letters, and nothing's been done. I got photographic proof before, then the complaint, then the letter from the city that they've been repaired, and then another photograph that's showing that they haven't been done anything. They're still unsafe and incomplete repairs. The asphalt ramps are non-compliant. They don't have handrails on it. So they're not asphalt proper repairs. Other people that I have talked to and I've knocked on their doors, the city is repairing them wrong or incomplete repairs, and they're not barricading them according to the Muni codes for the City of Modesto. This is your Public Works Department. They are required by the law, and according to your laws, it's a misdemeanor not to protect the people of the city. Where are all the barricades? Where? They should all be barricaded off. I can tell you one situation. 1700 McHenry Avenue, right in front of the chicken barn. You got ramps, and I got photos and tape measured photos and everything. They clearly exceed the little 2-inch height that the ADA tries to kind of let go and pass, but they're still improper and they need to be corrected. 10 inches, a civil rights violation. The city needs fined. The city needs to fix these right. You got a public works director who won't talk to you because your HR manager mandates that they go down and talk to her, and she's already lied to you. Who would you want to talk to? Somebody that you haven't talked to and find out. And my simple question to the public works director was, who is sending her the information that these have been repaired? Or is she just taking my complaints under ADA and after a little while submitting an answer back to me, and the work hasn't been done because it's not ADA compliant and they're not repaired? And
all right, can you wrap up your comments?
Yeah, I got one. I have filed more than 70 plus complaints on improper sidewalks, and I have been asking, why aren't these being fixed? I'm not getting it. I have from number 38, I believe, forward, no replies by the city because I've already explained to the HR manager the lies and deceit in the public that she submitted me on Modesto letterhead that it's been repaired, and I can prove in photos and I can show them. And anyone in the council that wants to come forward and look at these photos, I got them on my phone.
All right.
I got them on another phone. I got it on the phone I sent to the Department of Justice, ADA, civil rights violation. Yeah, guys need to talk to me. I begged and requested, and I'm not getting it.
All right, thank you.
And the asphalt, one more thing. Mr. Wright told me the asphalt ramp program, because I showed him that the ramps are not within the ADA qualification for repaired need to stop. Can I please get that as a temporary situation until I meet with the council? The city attorney doesn't want it. City manager don't want it. Nobody wants to meet with me because they know I'm right. 3 times they've tried to arrest me or have me arrested in violation of my civil and constitutional rights. And the council, when I beg for help to stop it, turns a blind eye and a deaf ear. It's wrong. For one person, for you to take a sworn statement and sworn affidavit that you're for duty in office and you violate my rights, it's wrong. Should I ask you all to resign again?
Thank you.
Or are you going to have
Heard your
comment
comments.
with me?
Thank you. Next.
Mayor,
Oh, Sebastian,
I got a cord up there, but
Sebastian, I was going to call someone else.
would you open it to the public in here for a minute?
Correct. I have a card for you.
Yes, but I have a meeting that's going on now.
Well, I would prefer to stay in order because maybe others have to leave also, and we aren't aware of that. And yours is coming up.
Can you tell me the number?
I need to clarify with Teresa if she wanted to, her items, you're the third.
I can't stay.
Okay.
Okay,
All
maybe I
right.
can do it out there, and I'll try to listen.
Okay, thank you.
Can you call me last then? How many
Sure.
cards you got up there?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Currently I have 9 and 2 online.
Can I be number 10?
Sure.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. I have Teresa Gamboa, but it was regarding consent items, so I did not know if it was about those particular consent items, about the management services agreement or the professional design services agreement. Did you want those items pulled out of consent, or did you want to address something that did not have to do with that in particular item? So the question would be if you wanted to speak during public comment time or during consent time. All right, so, okay, thank you. That clarifies that for me. All right, next I have a blue card for Steve.
First of all, I just want to say real quickly, I have no idea why you guys won't just do the obvious thing and give this town 5 minutes to speak. It's ridiculous. I know you guys just want to, like, you know, give each other high fives and do all the fluffy fun stuff and get home early, but it's disrespectful. You guys see it. You see it in the community. We don't feel heard. Give us 5 minutes. Come on, grow up. It's ridiculous. 3 minutes, I'm already, like, out of time. So I would like to specifically request that you put it on your agenda or whatever stuff you do. It's not hard. You know it's right. Just do it. So maybe next week or whatever next meeting, you guys can vote on it. Modesto deserves at least 5 minutes. Modesto has way more than 5 minutes worth of problems. I'm here tonight to talk to you about one of them. I'm sick of the police department in this town killing people when they don't need to. I've watched the body cam footage released, and I've watched the video footage from the community, the family. I've seen the murder of Paul Chavez. There was no reason whatsoever for Sam Muncie to shoot him. It's silly. What we see every single time the cops do things like this is that they move to control the narrative, and they give the silliest of excuses. And somehow, huge portions of the population are like, yeah, that, but it's insane. And that's what we've been talking about forward together for over a year now. You guys have 2 perfect examples of why these recommendations need to be put into effect now. And I know that it's being presented to you, and I just want to beg you on behalf of all the people who love anyone in this town and don't want to watch footage of them being killed, I beg of you to implement all of those. And I think in addition to that, this community deserves to hear from you to know whether or not you plan on doing that. We're tired of the like gray area. We're tired of the, oh, it's been a great talk. We're tired of wondering if it's just a report. You guys even talked about that, the notion of it might just be a report. I think that it would be appropriate if you guys would please speak to this community and tell us that you plan on implementing every one of those recommendations. And you plan on doing it without delay, and you plan on making it a priority over pretty much everything else. It needs to be done now. There are specific factors in both of the MPD shootings that happened in July that directly pertain to months and months of discussions. So you can't pretend like those things didn't happen, and you can't pretend like they don't have huge bearing on what you owe this community. And I want to ask that you think long and hard about whether you want people in your community to think that you value life. If you do, you will use your influence to make sure that Officer Sam Muncie is fired and prosecuted for the unlawful, needless killing of Paul Chavez, who was not armed. I don't care what the silly, like, POA story is. He did not brandish a weapon. He did not move to attack the officers. The narrative that he did is outrageous. Sam Muncie needs to be fired, and he needs to be prosecuted. And I found out today that the exact opposite has already happened, and he is already out in the streets, stalking the streets as a danger to this community. Anybody who blinks the wrong way has to find out if they're going to be Sam Muncie's third. I hope that you will do the right thing. You need to tell the community that you plan to implement all of the suggestions in the Forward Together Committee's work.
Thank you. All right. Next, Michael Chavez.
I'm Michael Chavez. I'm Paul Chavez's younger brother, and I came today to say the way he was taken was wrong in front of his family, his kids. This should have never happened. It could have been resolved a different way. It could have been 2 tasers instead of 1 gun and 1 taser. It could have been 2 tasers and it could have worked. I just don't know. The DA needs to pick up the case and letting it sit. We're not going to let it go under the carpet or anything. We're going to get justice for Paul David Chavez, and that's it.
Thank you. Right, next, Teresa.
My name's Teresa Clutter, and I was the mother-in-law of Paul David Chavez. Paul Chavez was a son. He was a husband. He was a father. He was an uncle. He was a grandson. He was a cousin. He was a friend. He loved his family more than anything. He has 3 amazing boys, all under the age of 8. They're all very witty, funny, very smart, intelligent, just like their father. One of the saddest, most heartbreaking things that I ever heard, his oldest, Paul III, say the day after when he found out his father had passed was that he only got his dad for 8 years. That absolutely broke my heart. And he said, "But Nani, I only remember 3. And that absolutely killed me." And I promised him, I said, "Paul, I promise we'll never let you forget your father. We have many memories, so many things. He loved you boys so much. He spent every weekend camping, fishing. He was part of a truck club, the Rams. He had a Ram. He held meets. They went somewhere new all the time. He's going to be greatly missed. He's so missed now. This has absolutely broken our family. And this has been unbearable to think that I see this stuff on the news. I remember the day we had just moved to Modesto. Worst decision of my life, by the way. I bought a house here. I moved 2 businesses here. I brought all 4 of my children here. And then you killed one of them. He just moved here in April from Manteca. He had been in Manteca majority of his life, in the Tri-Valley, Tracy, Manteca area since he was a young boy. He got a Class B license when he was 18 years old because he was dating our daughter, and my husband said, if you're going to date my daughter, then I need to make sure you're able to provide and take care of her. And so he made sure Paul had a Class B license, and he drove a pumper truck up until the day he died. So I am here asking for justice for my son, who no longer has a voice because Sam Muncie took his voice. And though you don't want to hear it, and these police back here don't want to hear it, that is the truth. The truth is Sam Muncie murdered Paul Chavez July 14, 2022. The truth is a 911 call was sent because we needed help to de-escalate. The truth is the officers showed up, and within 23 seconds of arriving, they had tased him and shot and killed him twice. 23 seconds. Now let me ask you, committee, when you call 911, what would you like them to do when they get there? Would you like them to pull out their guns, ready to shoot? Or would you like them to show up and try to figure out what's going on? You know, I wrote a whole speech of what I wanted to say, but it changed then since I got up here. Because at the end of the day, you would just want whatever's happening to be resolved, to be de-escalated, especially when you're calling on a family member. And the fact of the matter is, you never asked him anything. He was never asked anything. Not even his name. They didn't even verify it was him. But they were quick to pull that gun. And they were quick to fire. That is the truth. And nobody ever likes to hear the truth. But Teresa Clutter, that's me. I love telling the truth. Love it. And you can find all the dirt you want, and I'll admit to it all because I don't really have any. But we will be doing our own digging on everybody. So what we're asking for today is to do the right thing. We would like the DA to pick up the case. We would like Sam Muncie held accountable for what he has done for murdering Paul Chavez. We would like Sergio Valencia also held accountable, because if he wouldn't have tased Paul for no reason, it wouldn't have triggered Sam Muncie to pull that gun. But at the end of the day, I think Sam Muncie was ready for a fight, because when I pulled up, they were there. And when that officer passed me, he said, "Your husband wants you in the house." Premeditated. And I didn't know what he was talking about. I just pulled up. I had pizza. I thought Paul was at my house. But lo and behold, he was at the neighbor's house. And he was trying to rush me, get me out of the way, because they already knew what they were going to do. They were going to take down my son. And they didn't care who was watching, who was seeing, who was outside. They didn't even wait for me to get in the house. I'm in the driveway. Neighbors outside, kids playing. It's daylight, summertime. What if that was your neighbor? What if that was your son? What if that was your grandson, your great-grandson? What if that was your brother? You had 23 seconds. Comply or die. That's what happened. He did not comply immediately. And so his life was taken. If this doesn't touch you somewhere in your hearts, if this doesn't say something to you that you need to do the right thing, then there is a much deeper rooted issue here. So you all need to look inside yourselves. Maybe you need to have a talk with God and ask God what you should do. Because when people are left to make decisions on their own, they don't make very good ones, do they? So let's not be like everybody else. Because when people want change, but yet they don't want to put in the work. You want change, you have to be the one to change it. It starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with you, Sue. It starts with you, Joseph. It starts with you, Jenny. It starts with you, David. It starts with you, Jose. It starts with you, Rosa. It starts with you. Somebody has to say, enough. It's enough. I'm not going to let my city, my town, our community fall apart. Somebody has to be accountable. Who's going to be accountable? Who's going to say, I messed up and we need to reform and revise and retrain and regroup? You know, when you run a business and you've got a problem, the owner can't come and say, it's everybody else's fault. Is anybody here a business owner? Or do we just play behind the desk? Because I've owned multiple businesses. And when you've got a problem in your corporation, you got to clean house. And that means if there's a bigger problem, then maybe everybody needs to go and start over. Do the right thing. The DA needs to pick up this case. Sam Muncie needs to be prosecuted. Sergio Valencia needs to be held accountable as well. The entire police department needs to be held accountable for that day and everybody that showed up, and the EMT that also showed up and sucked in to do their job as well. They need to have body cams on them. Anybody that is coming to your rescue per se, pretending to come to your rescue, should have a body cam. Because how do we know what they're doing? How do we know they treated anybody? We just have to assume and take their word for it. Well, I took the word of cops showing up and going to de-escalate a problem, and look where it got me. All I could say now is I just pray in Jesus' name that my son gets justice and anybody that is involved is held accountable. Thank you.
Thank you. Next online, I have Duryea Syed.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm honored for this opportunity to share with you the California low-cost auto insurance program. My name is Duryea Syed, and I'm an analyst in the Community Relations and Outreach branch of the Department of Insurance. California low-cost auto insurance program is a state-sponsored program created by the legislatures to offer liability insurance to income-eligible, low-income, good and new drivers in California. This program offers liability insurance for $317 for a good driver over 24 years old for a year, if you qualify, regardless of the immigration status in Stanislaus County. So how do people qualify? They must have a California driver's license or AB60 license, or value of the vehicle must be and the value of the vehicle must be less than $25,000 or less, be 16 years old at least, and meet the income eligible guidelines. For right now, for 4-person household, the income eligibility is $69,375. You cannot have bad driving record, so it's available for a good new driver, for good or new drivers that meet the income guidelines. And what do people need for this program? They need a valid driver's license or AB60 license, valid car registration, and the down payment of 20% of the annual premium, that was $317 for a 24-year married person. And proof of income, it can be a pay stub, W-2, or even a statement of benefits from health plan, medical, or other state county programs. And if people cannot provide that, that's okay. Also, they can fill out a staff attest form to verify they meet the income guidelines. So just wanted to say that how do you apply for the program? You just go online at www.ilowcostauto.com and take the eligibility questionnaire. It's 7 questions only, but you can apply directly to a certified agent, ask questions on the website through the chat available in Spanish also. and our number is 866-602-8861. And if people qualify and have all the forms ready and the down payment, they can be insured the same day by fund directly with them. But I just want to be here and remind you that I'm not your outreach analyst for the City of Modesto. I'm here. Our department is here. You can just go on our website at insurance.ca.gov or call our hotline number 800-927-4357 for any questions, because we have a dedicated staff to answer your specific questions, and our callback rate is only 2 minutes. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, Patrick Woolley. If he's not, okay. I was going to say I call you later. Yeah, no problem. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to start with, this is my second meeting that I'm coming to. When does our lives matter as a community? When will we be heard, and when will we be able to not be afraid when we see Modesto police? 40 days of grief with no end in sight, 40 days with no justice. No more calls, no more visits, no more family outings. Paul David Chavez on July 14th was murdered by Officer Samuel Muncie of Modesto Police Department. If this was a regular citizen committing this public execution, he or she would have had to enter a plea already for a murder trial. But because this is an officer that we pay to protect and serve, we are left in the dark as a murderer walks amongst us. Be careful, everyone. Murdering Sam Muncie might be behind you in the line at the bank, ordering a coffee in front of you at Starbucks, or picking up children from your local elementary school. Paul Chavez was a father of 3 and a loving husband, a caretaker of his 85-year-old grandmother and younger brother after both of their parents died while they were teenagers. Paul was a great friend to anyone he met and brother. There was no urgency that day to save Paul's life. Paul's last words before he was shot were, "It's cool, it's cool, it's cool, chill." Paul was a person like you and me, and now he no longer has his life because of murderer Officer Samuel Muncie. This is not Officer Sam Muncie's first homicide either as a Modesto police officer. Modesto has a problem with not having accountability for their officers regarding murders. Paul Chavez has 3 beautiful sons that have to grow up without having their father's love and support. In one moment, our family's life was changed forever. When will it stop? When will officers in Modesto be accountable for their actions? I ask you all, when is enough enough? When it's one of your children, one of my children? Our community needs to stop protecting murdering officers in Modesto. I ask, are you going to explain to 3 boys why this officer killed their father? Paul Chavez no longer has his voice, but we as a community will stand up and be his voice for change. Sam Muncie should face charges immediately for his crimes of murder. I will be back to speak at every single one of these meetings until my body ceases to breathe. This is very, very big for me. Paul Chavez was such a great friend. And I'm going to leave now, but I wanted to play this. Hold on. This is Paul's voice. This was Father's Day when he called me, just a friend, to wish me happy Father's Day, and I'll never get this back.
Yo, what up, bro? I was just calling to tell you happy Father's Day, man. Holler back. All right.
That's Paul. He no longer can do that. And I urge you to help us.
Thank you. Next, Brittany Estrella.
I want to know why Officer Muncie is still a police officer, and why police officers get to murder people. Go on leave for what, 2 weeks? Paid? and then go back? How is that fair? Now I have to face anxiety, PTSD, fear, everything that I never had, because he was my rock and he helped me through that before, and now it's enticed by 20. It's taken me so much to come up here. I am shaken. And now every time I hear a siren, every time I see a cop, I have to sit there and pray and say, I hope to God they don't pull out a gun and kill someone's husband, brother, grandson, great-grandson, father. That man did everything for me and his loved ones. You could have did the most dirtiest thing. Like maybe actually shoot him in the leg and not the freaking chest. And you know what? That would have happened, and this officer, I don't know, something really bad happened to him. Guarantee you my husband would have been by his side if he needed him. Because my husband held no grudge. He loved people. He was a very humble person. Went to Sacramento one time. There was this kid, he was like 18 years old. Remember giving him food. My husband, it was his birthday. Just got him this jacket. Immediately stopped because it was so cold in Sac. And he took it right off of him and gave it to him and said, babe, I just got you that for your birthday. He goes, it's just a material item, babe. I'm gonna go back and get another one. I just need to make sure that kid stays warm tonight. Takes care of our 85-year-old grandmother that now I'm gonna be taking care of. He brought in every single family member to help them, no matter what, even if they were arguing. And now, I wake up every single day and he's not there. He used to call me like 30 times a day. It was annoying. And I know my phone hardly rings. I don't get those text messages anymore. I don't get the silly, quick-witted husband anymore. I don't get hearing his truck coming up and parked. And him coming home and say, hey, babe. Going up to the kids and saying, hey, boys, I'm home. What are you guys doing? I don't get, everything has been taken from me. But what does Sam Moonsey get? He gets paid leave. He gets to go back to work. He still gets a gun. I don't know why you give a gun to a murderer. And a tail hitch is not justified. The officers knew what they were going into. You got a call. I understand the call, and it was stressful. But you as an officer who gets paid, you're supposed to take that phone call, and you're supposed to de-escalate the situation, not immediately escalate it. Well, he's sleeping on the lawn, picks up a tail hitch, stumbling around because he's drunk, which the officers knew this. Tries to go back home because he knows, well, crap, I got to go back home. And then what? Tased, shot. And this guy's still roaming around. How many lives? Is it going to take 3 more, 4 more, or 5 more until you're like, oh, wait, this guy's loose cannon? Does no one's lives matter? Something needs to happen. If I would have known Modesto PD or the city acts like this, does this, sweeps stuff under the rug, I would have never have moved us here. Never. And there shouldn't be, and I'm hoping to goodness what I've heard was that the city is asking for more money in taxes to help this problem out. Why would we give you more money? It should come out of your pockets, not mine. I came here to live here. You're supposed to be helping. Not asking for more after you already just took everything from me and from others. We need reform. Officer Sam Moonsey needs to be fired. His gun and badge needs to be pulled. And the DA needs to pick up this case. If you guys have any type of say, any type of anything, I urge you to please do something. Whatever it is that you can, please do it. Because if not, then you're involved in his murder too.
Thank you. All right, next, online, Gavin Bruce.
Thank you, Council. I would just like to, I'm here to just reiterate some of the points that were brought up by the family of Paul Chavez. I saw the body cam footage, and it was incredibly upsetting to see that. And unfortunately, it's all too common in Modesto with Modesto Police Department. It happened with Trevor Seaver, and that officer is since gone, but the problem continues to fester in the Modesto Police Department. And to come out and try to pull the wool over our eyes and make it seem like, you know, somehow the officer was defending himself or he had a weapon. He didn't have a weapon. I've seen the body cam footage. That's why that's why there's body cam footage, so we can see it. I saw it with my own two eyes. It was not justified at all. And Sam Muncie needs to be prosecuted for this. He should not be on the force. He has obviously shown himself to be unqualified to be a police officer. And honestly, see the police department at all these community events. They're out there with their, you know, their different gadgets and their things, trying to engage with the community and earn trust through all these different programs and initiatives. Well, nothing destroys the community's trust like pulling out a gun and killing an innocent, unarmed person when you're supposed to be de-escalating a situation. And when that situation totally could have been de-escalated. You know, obviously I'm not trained in this kind of thing, but you don't have to be a genius to look at that and see, you know, any other alternative beside pulling a gun out. It's just, and the fact that he's back on duty is really distressing as a community member. And there have been many times when I have felt like I was compelled to call the police. But given all of the other past incidents from the police department, I've refrained from calling the police because honestly, there's a really good chance that when they show up, when they do show up, they're going to escalate the situation and there's going to be someone killed right in front of you. Yeah, I mean, in short, again, just Sam Muncie needs to be held accountable. The whole police department needs to be held accountable because there's obviously a festering problem there that this type of thing continues to happen. So the DA needs to take up the case. I mean, even beyond the DA, even going to the Attorney General's office as well, because the DA has also shown that she's not impartial when doing these investigations. But that's at least a place to start. And in short, again, Sam Muncie needs to be held accountable, and we need justice for Paul Chavez. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, Alicia Hager. Welcome.
So today I'm going to talk about a little bit more than what I did last time. I talked about time for Paul Chavez. When we watch the video, it's 23 seconds before he's shot. If you keep watching, it gets worse. 35 seconds after, I pee longer than that. 35 seconds after, the officer is still holding his gun to his chest. He's already dead. What can he do to you? His partner took 36 seconds to call for help. Now, I'm no genius, but I've been around a little bit. I do know, because they've taken me to jail, because I've asked why. What happened to my brother? Why? What happened? Don't touch the tape. You're in jail. Why'd you go under the tape for? I didn't. You went under the tape. These are all body cam images that are not ever released from the same incident. Now, we're talking about police brutality and time. July 4th, on 4th of July of this year, there was a bipolar no meds incident that turned into attempted murder. Do you know how long it took me to watch that video? An hour and a half. An hour and a half is how long they gave that man, who, by the way, had 6 knives. 6 knives that the officers knew in his bedroom while he is under no meds. totally unstable. But my brother, not medicated, known that he was drunk, they could have shot the wrong man because they didn't even ask who he was. They could have had his son. Thank God he's 8 years old. God forbid, in 8 years from now, he looks just like him. And if it were to happen 8 years from today, they might have shot his son instead. For being next door, who, by the way, my mom bought that house. So it's so sad and disgusting. But do you know, for him being my brother, the only way I could stop crying is if I go to that house and sit on that lawn where his blood sits. It's disgusting how much time you guys think that we have and how much time you spend on each other. You give to get back. Now, when I was a kid, I know my father taught me body language. Body language is very important. Not as much as maybe reading a book, maybe, because that does get you a job and all. But you know what keeps your job is your socialism. Now, if you don't know how to talk, the school can't teach you how to move. So I do know body language, and I do know they do too. They know body language. That's the first thing that you're taught. So seeing the body language, I want to know how this looks threatening. But knives in a bedroom under a psychiatric help is not threatening. Now, I pray to God, which I'm sorry that I let the MPD get in the way of how I speak to my God, because you guys have destroyed us and discouraged us as the people so far that we're frightened by you. People spend their last dollar, give their last toe to go countries over, to flee that. I used to be proud. I used to be proud to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I used to be proud to tell my kids, hey, let's honk at the police officers and say hello. But the day that they shot him, they gave no answers. They threw me in jail to mourn, while they extended their tape to cover their ass. Now, I want to know. I don't want to know. I want to see. Murderers get their weapons taken away. I want to see when anybody, I don't care if it's an officer or a citizen or somebody who has no social security number, if you have committed such a crime, you shall be committed so and be taken to therapy to help you so you don't do it again. I have COVID longer than he got paid leave. But he's supposed to be all better? He's okay up here? You get a divorce and you can't even take care of your kids, right? We're all over the place. But he can shoot someone in cold blood and go back to work and protect somebody else's child? Not my kid. He won't be protecting my kid. I will. Because from now on, this has not turned into a society. This has turned into SOS. This is a call for help. And if you don't have a brain or a heart or any bravery, because I know when you take that nice little cute stand that says your name, that gives you your district and tells you who you're the mayor and all that stuff, is the establishment of what you're doing next. And if you're just going to sit there and do nothing, if you're not part of the solution, you are only the problem. Then get out of our way and let us do it for you. Don't take up that space for somebody else that can be doing something. Body language is everything. Eye contact is everything. It shows if you care. It shows if you're listening. Now, he was looking at them, but they wasn't talking. They weren't asking, what's your name? What's going on? What happened today? Hey, man. Because you know what? Even the drunk guy said, rationalism in his head and out loud. It's cool. Chill. A drunken man, 3 bottles of Captain Morgan in, can still say chill. A sober man behind a badge. Can I ask his name? You tell me who's drunk. And then you tell me who deserves to have that badge. Because he still ain't talked to nobody. But I know this guy's covering his ass. You got no answers for us either, huh? I know you're here to protect us, but you're also here to solve our problems and to tell us what we're wondering and what we want. We have not heard anything but pointing fingers and scapegoating.
Okay. Alicia?
I'm finished.
Okay. No, you can.
I'd like to
talk
finish
to
for
us.
her. I have a couple comments to make. I'm not on the ballot, but I'm going to speak anyways. Who here is from Modesto? I'd like to take a vote. You from Modesto?
We all have to live in Modesto.
Are you from Modesto?
Yes, I was born
I'm
here.
from Modesto. I've been born and raised here. Who here thinks every life matters? Do you think every life matters? Do you think everybody's life matters? Do you? Then make your DA pick up the case.
All cases matter.
All right. Next online we have Anna.
All right. Next online we have... Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. My name is Anna. If you don't know already, Paul Chavez was murdered on Thursday, July 14th by Modesto PD's own Sam Muncy. If you have not watched the video, I urge you to. See with your own eyes that he did not raise his hand. He did not threaten nor antagonize the responding officers. He was simply an intoxicated man trying to get his bearings. I recently read an article published by Dr. Elliott where it said, "Too many pay with their lives when overly aggressive warriors show up and see a criminal to neutralize rather than a human being in need." Why is that? Chief, I ask you, why? Why do your officers show up for calls hot and ready, guns drawn? Last meeting I asked the council, why was Paul given two choices, comply or die? Tonight I ask you, police chief, why was Paul such a threat to Sam Muncy but not Sergio Valencia? How come Sam Muncy's first reaction was to pull out his deadly weapon, while Sergio Valencia had only his taser out? Why did your officer show up to a family disturbance call with his gun out and gave only two options to a visibly intoxicated man? Comply or die. Is this how our new officers are being trained, Chief? Comply or die. Chief, please explain it to us. Look his wife in the eyes and explain how on July 15th on Facebook, you labeled Paul as uncooperative, not armed and dangerous, and yet one of your officers murdered him. Members of the council, mayor, please understand that we are not hostile. We are not hateful. We are heartbroken. I implore you to please support the grieving family. Urge the DA to pick up this case. Sam Muncy should have been arrested, booked, and charged with the murder of Paul Chavez, as anyone not hiding behind a badge would have. Say his name. Paul Chavez.
All right. Anna, are you there?
I'm done. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Next, we have Jonathan Williams.
All right, I would like to take this time to thank the council for having me, letting me speak, of course, and I also want to apologize for my voice. I've lost that because of the due fact that people here today can't use their voice, so I felt that I should make that loud and clear, of course. So first things first, I would like to address the crowd, of course. I want to say three names, of course, if I can. I want to say Paul III, I want to say Abraham, and I want to say Josiah. Those are the names of his three boys that no longer get to welcome their dad when he gets home from work. You know, they don't get to run out to that big truck right there in the parking lot, whatever the case may be. But a little emotional, but work through that. But I'm here for one reason and one reason only. My question to the public and to, most importantly, the council is why? Why do we give jobs to those that clearly are not capable of doing a simple duty, of course? I myself am a plumber. I'm a service plumber, so when it comes to the public, hence why we're here, of course, when it comes to serving the public, I walk into the house with the utmost respect. I walk up to a house, hey man, how are you doing today? My name is Jonathan Williams. I am with said company. I'm here to service you, of course. Where did Sam Muncie walk up and state that fact? Where did Sam Muncie walk up and ask him for the simple fact of what his name was? He could have been the neighbor that lived in that home, of course. He could have been the neighbor across the street trying to calm the guy down. He could have been one of my family members, as well as Paul, just trying to de-escalate the situation, of course. But the fact of the matter is, I lost a cousin that day. My cousin Brittany lost her husband that day. Teresa and Josh lost their son-in-law that day. My cousin Michael lost his brother that day. I can go on, I can go forth. I've got about 40 other family members that I can list, I can name. It's irrelevant to the fact, of course. The simple matter is, I want to do one thing if I may. I just want to put that right there for a couple of seconds, of course. And then I also want to turn that so that way you see his full name, of course. That is Paul D. Chavez Jr., Paul David Chavez. Say his name, please. Thank you, Council.
You're welcome. All right. Next, online, Ramon Rodriguez.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. Again, this has been over almost 2 years now, speaking on the issue of police brutality within Modesto. And you have the family of Paul Chavez Jr. and the concerned community members speaking out against the Modesto Police Department's felony activities. And we all know that. When George Floyd got murdered by Derek Chauvin of the Minneapolis Police Department, that made me active now. And a few months later, Trevor Seaver was murdered by Modesto Police Officer Joseph Lamatia, and then almost 2 months later, Alonso Nunez was beaten by 4 Modesto police officers. And guess what? There's still no justice for Alonso, no justice for Trevor, and now no justice for Paul Chavez and Dylan Harvey because you let Modesto police doing felony activities. If we do that with normal people as civilians, we go to jail right away, but police officers with their badges, they can go on commit felonies, they can get their paid vacation, they can get access to better lawyers, and they have a different justice system than everyone else. And it's disgusting to see that footage. That family is speaking to their hearts. They have pain. They've suffered in unsufferable pain losing a loved one. He has a father, a family member. He's caring and kind to everyone that they know him. And now 3 boys will never see their father again in their lives because of Sam Muncie. And I'm talking about the same Sam Muncie that shot a person 5 years ago, and this is the same Sam Muncie that pointed an AR-15 at Trevor's when he was dying. And when he was treating Trevor, that same Sam Muncie told him, "I'm sorry, bro," in a heartless and cruel way when Trevor was dying. And I knew that this is going to happen, and I've warned this in the previous council meetings and the Work Together meetings that if you don't clean up the culture of Modesto Police Department, they'll kill. And unfortunately, my predictions came true again, seeing 2 recent incidents. When are you guys going to start cleaning up? When are you going to start holding cops accountable when they commit senseless violence against people. I mean, the situation with Paul was handled differently if they introduced themselves and everything. But no, Sam Muncie was right between with Joseph Lamatia and Kim Potter, pointed out a gun and shot him. And this is really upset. I have no words to say, but Sam Muncie needs to be fired. He needs to be charged with multiple felonies. And if the DA doesn't do her job, then this is going to be sent to the Attorney General, because this is extremely disgusting, and we all know what Barry Flagger do. She butt kisses cops who commit felonies, and she's also responsible for the death of a prominent criminal defense attorney, Frank Carson. The whole system needs to be changed because it's raw in the core. It's not just in Modesto, but everywhere. And you guys are like stuck in La La Land when this is happening every day. And when you have cops that go out and commit felonies, they get away with it, and the people are still living in fear. Alonzo News is now having felony charged because he's been charged because of resisting arrest by U.S. beating because he doesn't speak English, and that officer is still on duty. And you know what's going to happen to that officer and the other officer involved? They're going to end up like Joseph Lamatia or Sam Muncie. And I've warned you guys before. So you guys better start leading and clean the system up before there'll be another incident involving a death or an injury of a civilian. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Sebastian Jones.
Okay, right. I concur with this family, Paul Chavez. I'm sorry I didn't come down here to speak, but I've been out of town. But I'm with that family. They bleeding hard, you know. And I understand this is my third time, but I want to get to the point where I'm here. I'll be with them. Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. I'm coming here to address a situation, and I know the situation and the circumstance that occurred why I didn't file for District 2. I got that COVID, whatever you want to call it, deadly disease. I lost 7 members, and I didn't know I was going to get it, and it shut me down in Texas for quite a while. I may not be here speaking, but the good of God that I'm here and back. But I'm asking you, we making all kind of changes. You guys change every faucet in this building. That was a change. Yes, I wasn't here to file my papers, so I'm asking a change due to my sickness and due to whatever occurred, because it's deadly disease, and I think we should have some exception. Now y'all may not think so, but don't catch it. Don't lose 7 family members. It almost had me crying because I thought about my loved one. But I'm asking the City Council, and I don't know if y'all scared of me or what, but I'm going to still fight for District 2. But I'm asking you to take a second look due to my sickness in Texas. I couldn't fly there. I couldn't do nothing. Hell, I didn't know where I was at. Well, my time is going. Let me get to my second one. I didn't know none of this until I got back in town with the UFW, United Farm Workers. I walked 30 or 40 miles. Had a chance to walk with Dr. Martin Luther King III, and he will be in this town here to christen the Martin Luther King Park. But I couldn't understand that they could not use Cesar Chavez Park. Whoever made that decision made a mistake. What's wrong with Modesto? Every town from 99 all the way to Sacramento. I got 5 minutes. Sacramento, they open a park. I walked from Manteca to Stockton. Those people was congratulating me into, I think it was Central Park or University Park. They didn't have to pay $1 million. That was said. Wait a minute. You guys eat, whether you're vegetarian or meat lover. Those are farm workers. You sitting there putting that dressing on somebody's sweat. You putting that steak sauce on that steak on somebody's sweat. And you mean to tell me y'all couldn't let them be at the City of Chavez Park for 4 or 5 hours? That's sad on Modesto. Do you know that made us look bad? That's sad. But I tell the people, vote. Vote. You want to get that DA out? Y'all got to do some hustling. Y'all got to do some marching. Everybody don't look at a vision. You assemble and sign up to vote. I've been voting since I was 18. I am a warrior. I stand for justice. A lot of people don't like me because I'm righteous, just like George Floyd, from downtown all the way to Target store and back.
Sebastian?
Is my time up, Mayor? Is that 5 minutes?
I don't know. I'm not.
Well, I was watching that clock up there on show 3, and I think I did 4, and I think I'm owed 1 more minute.
It's time.
Now, Mayor, I just heard that gentleman come in here and talk about his rights being violated. Now, come on. Now, I have doctor's papers that y'all got on file. Yes, I have a vocal problem. I have to use this sometime. So you want to violate me, I can use the money that would go on my campaign. But anyway, I'm going to ease out of here. But I'm going to tell the people I'm with you. Shame on Modesto. I'm part of the UFW. I've been part with them a long time. I march with them. I speak with them. So the next time you eat that salad or that steak, think about a sweat that come off the back.
All right, thank you. Online, I have Jonathan.
Hello, thanks for the opportunity to speak. I just want to advocate for public safety, and in doing so, if you have public safety, you need to have accountability. I mean, I'm on one hand, it's encouraging to hear that this Forward Together report is happening tonight, but what happened with Paul Chavez, that video was so deeply disturbing, and there needs to be accountability, period, if people are going to feel safe in the city of Modesto. So there needs to be justice. If Officer Sam Muncie is back on the street, that doesn't engender a feeling of safety. And all that work that went into Forward Together, if the right thing isn't done now, it's going to just feel like actions that don't have any actual meaning. So it's imperative that, first of all, I'm just curious if the way that situation was handled, the shooting of Paul Chavez Jr., whether that's protocol. Is that what's, I mean, it would seem to be protocol if Officer Muncie is back working again. So I think the public deserves to know that. But above and beyond everything else, just we need public safety, and public safety requires accountability, period. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next, Latricia at Faith in the Valley.
There we go. Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. I am sharing tonight from my personal request to see that the 54 acres that are vacant, known as Muni Golf Course, are right for housing units for all. You govern over this property for the people of Modesto. And since I am one of the many people who are being affected by the lack of workforce housing in our community, as a mother of adult children who work but cannot afford to get their own housing due to not making a minimum of $49,000 to $50,000 annually, to be able to qualify to even apply for a place to call their own. For a one-bedroom unit, it's $1,500 to $1,600 a month. I've been looking for them a place. So I'm speaking as a citizen this evening to encourage you to look at Muni as development land for workforce housing, where people can purchase homes that are within their income level to buy and build equity. Also for renters to be able to rent and be able to pay their rent within their economic status. Things are out of control right now. Muni is very vital and ripe for housing and housing for all. As the governing authority or the managers of the property for the people are in need. I not only speak as a citizen, but also from Faith in the Valley and the people that I am working with on the west side that unfortunately cannot be here tonight, but will be in the upcoming meetings, city council meetings, to share their housing stories with you all. I ask you to consider developing this land, and as a city council, help us find developers. The city has the money, they just need the land and they need developers. And you have the connections and the means to help your people, your constituents, to get workforce housing going and developed here in the city of Modesto. And why not those beautiful 54 acres of land? God bless you. Thank you. And I'm cheering for you to do the right thing.
Thank you. Next online, I see Anna. I believe we've heard from her already. I have that in my notes. So,
Yeah.
okay. So next is Bianca Lopez.
Hi, good evening. I wasn't going to speak today, but listening to the folks who are present today, I'd like to make a couple of comments of the issues that have been brought up during public comments. I just want to say that it's really concerning that more committee members come to the city council meetings to express the lack of communication and response by city staff, including the mayor. It is not okay to ignore community members, especially when we are trying to better the community. I'd like the chief to step up to the mic at some point before the end of today's meeting to confirm if Muncie is in fact back on the force. It was mentioned by a couple of speakers today that he is back, which means the investigation has been completed and has been found resolved. Chief, you need to do that, because you can't just let us assume things that are not true. I'm here in solidarity with the folks of West Modesto as well. We must get an update on the plans for the use of the municipal golf course. The people of West Modesto deserve an update. I saw the memo turned in or submitted by Councilmember Madrigal. I have not seen a response, but it is past due for the city to respond with an update. And today I'm also in solidarity with Paul Chavez's family and friends. Paul Chavez was killed cowardly so by Officer Muncie. Paul Chavez should be here today. Say his name, Paul Chavez. No justice, no peace. Today, the community marched with Paul Chavez's family and friends, from the Modesto Police Department to the DA to the City Council. And they will be back again. The community will continue to come to demand justice. Now, Chief, you can't stay quiet. The City Council must act now on the accountability piece presented to you by the Forward Together Committee. And you can't just accept it. We need more information. We need more information and more action. Paul Chavez was killed by killer cop Muncie. No justice, no peace. No killer Muncie. No justice, no peace. No killer Muncie. He must be held accountable, and so must the rest of you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Olivia online.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, I am a friend of Teresa, Paul Chavez's mother-in-law, and I'm here today to just express my pure disgust of the Modesto Police Department. We, as citizens, have a right to be protected by our police officers. When we call the fire department, we have a right to be protected by our fire department. They come and they put the fires out. Our police officers are supposed to be showing up, protecting and serving. This is what they are paid to do. Since COVID has happened, there has been a huge offset of mental health issues. When you go to the doctor just for a fever, you have a questionnaire that you fill out that asks you if you're severely depressed, if you're happy, are you suicidal? Just for, and I'm not exaggerating, for the simplest things when you go see your doctor. Sam Muncie is a murderer. The fact that he is put back in the force and is allowed to have a gun right now, after watching the video of my friend's son-in-law, a father, a son, a brother, a husband be murdered, this would not be acceptable. If it was anyone else other than an officer, this would not be acceptable. With mental health issues being what they are today, you guys need to step up. We need to be able to rely on our police force in emergency situations. You need training for mental health. There was no reason why a gun was pulled out. Hell, there was no reason a taser was pulled out. Looking at that video, you could have just walked straight up to him and pushed him over with a finger. This is completely out of control. And the chief of police, if you are in there, you have a responsibility. Just because you have a badge, because you have been elected to have your position, you have a responsibility. Do the right thing, please. That's all.
All right, thank you. At this time, is there anyone else wishing to come forward to speak under public comment for items not on the agenda? I see one person online, Patsy Wilhelm.
I'm sorry. I'm waiting for 12 and 13 on the
Okay.
agenda.
All right. All right. Thank you. We'll be there soon. All right. So I do not see anyone else in person or online to speak under public comment. So next on the agenda will be consent items. I would like to take a 5-minute break to return at 7:15 to continue with consent items. Thank you very much. All righty, as soon as everyone's back in their places, we'll begin.
We're going to closed session after this?
All righty, next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. Is there anyone on the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? All right, is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion or comment? And we have item 12 and 13 that have been pulled by Teresa Gamboa. So at this point, will the city clerk please read the consent? Oh, I'm sorry. All right. I see a hand from Virginia Hammond. Did you want any items pulled from consent, or were you going to comment about items 12 and 13? Virginia, I see your hand raised.
There we go. Now I see the microphone. I wanted to comment on items 12 and 13.
Okay.
On the consent calendar.
All right, great, thank you. And I will call on you as soon as we get to that point, which will be very soon. Thank you. So will the clerk please read the consent items?
Yes, Mayor. Item 6, consider approving the minutes from the August 9th council meeting. Item 7, consider approving final adoption of ordinance 3747, amending section 17-3-9 of the zoning map to rezone from low-density residential zone and commercial industrial zone to planned development zone for properties located at 1601 and 1625 McHenry Avenue. Item number 8, consider approving final adoption of ordinance 3748, amending the zoning map to rezone property located at 1707 McHenry Avenue from commercial industrial zone to general commercial zone. Item number 9, consider appointing a voting delegate to the 2022 League of California Cities Annual Conference to be held in Long Beach, California on September 7th through 9th, 2022. Item number 10, consider approving a resolution continuing to authorize remote teleconference meetings pursuant to AB 361. Item number 11, consider approving a Fourth Amendment to the Legal Services Agreement with Allen Gleisner, Hazelwood, Worth, LLP in the amount of $50,000 for a total agreement amount not to exceed $645,000. Item 12 was removed from consent. Item 13 was removed from consent. Item 14, consider approving a will serve letter and outside service agreement for sewer services for the property located at 1420 Elsie Street. Item 15, consider approving the amended and restated memorandum of agreement with Stanislaus County for the preliminary engineering, including final design phase of the 7th Street Bridge project and amending fiscal year 2022-2023 CIP budget. Item number 16, consider approving the competitive bidding process for various fleet additions and replacement vehicles, which includes 4 forklifts, 6 one-ton trucks, 1 one-ton stake side trucks in the amount not to exceed $1,295,331 and approving updated pricing for 2 bid events for fleet replacement vehicles by $55,806.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar? I have a motion from Councilmember Canoyer and a second.
I'll second.
Second by Vice Mayor Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
And Mayor Wallen.
Aye. So those items carry 6-0. Now we will go back to item 12, which is consider approving a second amendment to the Construction Management Services Agreement with WSP USA Incorporated for the State Route 132 West Freeway / Expressway Phase 1 project, increasing the agreement amount by $621,745 plus $62,175 in additional services if needed, from $11,764,074 for a total amount not to exceed $12,447,994. And we have Jalen French here to address our council with the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. Both items 12 and 13 are amendments to contracts which support the construction phase of the 132 project, as was mentioned. So item 12 is with WSP. They are supporting the construction management service. So they monitor the construction during construction. The item 13 is an amendment to a contract with Daca Engineering, which is providing design support services during construction. So as changes are made, we work with the design company to ensure that they fit with what is happening in the field on construction. So because the time has extended from a July timeframe to an end of September timeframe, the construction, we are amending these contracts to ensure that those services provided support the remainder of the construction of the 132 Phase 1 project. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council or the public has at this time.
All right, thank you very much for that report. Any questions from council members?
I have a question.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Jalen, on these changes, do they have to be ran through Caltrans first?
Yeah, so Caltrans is the oversight authority. This is actually their facility, so all things go through Caltrans.
So if we wanted to make a change ourselves or add something down the road, it has to be approved by Caltrans before we can do it?
Yes, we work with Caltrans on these types of amendments.
So we couldn't make any changes ourselves without their approval?
No, ultimately their facility that we are project managing for them.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions from council members? Seeing none, comments from the public. I have Teresa Gamboa. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor's Wallen, Council, City Manager's Office, City Attorney, staff, members of the public. My name is Teresa Gamboa, and I'm the Chairwoman of Woodland West Community Neighborhood. The Woodland West Community Neighborhood Steering Committee all wanted to be here tonight, but you're stuck with me. We support the repaving and the asphalt work and the sidewalk work of Kansas Avenue. It's badly needed, so we support that. However, we're concerned about speeding on Kansas Avenue after improvements are made. So please also consider funding for traffic enforcement once the improvements have been made from Carpenter Road to Morse Road. And once again, we would like to ask you for a sound wall for the neighborhood from about Rosemore to Morse Road along the new SR 132 alignment. As you know, due to the change in construction plans, the new roadway had to be built above grade along Kansas Avenue after it comes up from Rosemore. This will increase noise, pollution, and presents a safety risk to the neighborhood, especially those along Kansas Avenue. So we did not want this project in our neighborhood, and we kindly ask you to consider our safety. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Virginia Hammond online.
Okay, yes, on two different points regarding the 132. First of all, the intersection is out at Kansas and Carpenter. It's been out a number of days. It's a very dangerous situation. We used to get updates from WSP on this type of thing, and there are no updates. So we don't know how long the situation is going to last. There are passive, aggressive drivers. There are pedestrians trying to navigate through this. So I'd appreciate some follow-through on that. And on the other thing, I support the Woodland West sound wall. It is badly needed. And on Exhibit A, on item 13, there's certain things that the consultant was supposed to follow through with. And the consultant has admitted to not doing them. And so when the elevation was raised, the protocol wasn't followed through on bringing the environmental documents validated. So any sound studies that were done before do not apply to the elevated roadway. So Woodland West needs a sound wall to mitigate for this change of construction plans. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next online, I see Margaret.
Yes, this is Margaret. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yes. I'm one of the members on the steering committee for Woodland West, and I just wanted to say that, you know, I am, oh, so sorry.
That's all right.
Yes, that I am asking for the sound wall, not for beautification, of course, it's for safety purposes because of the change of the project. And it is above grade level. And I was just thinking, I hadn't heard anyone necessarily speak about the speed factor also of the 132. And you have the 132 above grade level in Kansas. And that right there could just be a dangerous situation, because you already have maybe, I think about on Kansas, it's like, you know, some parts of it's like 40, 45, but coming from Dakota on is pretty fast, and the people are already kind of hard to slow down. But I was just thinking, you see that 132, that speed is going to be higher. I think that's going to encourage, by seeing the speed of those vehicles coming also, is just going to encourage the drivers that have the need for speed to also just speed up and drive faster. And that is a very, you know, bad safety hazard right there. So also for the pollution that the vehicles will be putting out for the respiratory people, you know, the asthmatics, the emphysema, COPD, people like that, I think that would also be effective along with the sound. But I just wanted to put my input in a little bit, and I hope that you will definitely consider the sound wall as a safety factor for this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Next, Patsy Wilhelm.
Good evening, council members. I would like to also reiterate the need for the sound wall. I believe that it's going to make a big difference for safety reasons. I'm also kind of curious as to the amount of money that is being asked in addition to I'm talking about the paving. I think they've also asked for an additional $1 million to pave Kansas Avenue, and I'm just wondering, wasn't that included in the original bid? And if I could get that question answered, I would sure appreciate it.
But the need for the sound wall, the traffic on Kansas is a mess. It's always very, very busy. We need that sound wall, council members. This neighborhood is a good neighborhood, good people, and we do need that sound wall. So I'd like to thank you for hearing me.
You're welcome. Thank you for taking the time to share your comments with me. And we have Jalen to respond.
I'll address that last question. No, the paving of Kansas was not originally included in the project scope, but because of the condition of the pavement after the construction activities, we did decide to add that to the project.
All right. One comment that I would like to make, I believe that Virginia brought up asking about the situation at the intersection at Carpenter and Kansas, and I know that there was a car crash over the weekend, and I've driven out several times. So that's something that if Virginia or Teresa want to email me, maybe I will forward that to the city manager, and we can get an update regularly so that the people in the neighborhood know what the status is and how long it will take to take that four-way stop away and make it a lighted intersection again. So feel free to do that. All right, any comments? I don't see anyone else online or in person regarding this item. Any comments from council?
Yeah, Mayor, I have just follow-up question. Since the raise of the freeway there, is there going to be a new sound study done, Galen?
So I believe, and the City of Modesto is not managing phase 2 of the project, which will widen the same stretch from 2 lanes, 1 lane in each direction, to 4 lanes, 2 lanes in each direction. I believe there's been a general commitment to relook at the noise produced on the facility, the roadway, once it's operational, and then to reconsider. Caltrans has done extensive noise studies, and they do not believe, based on the noise studies, they have a metric, a criteria that needs to be met to justify the cost of the sound study. And that metric was not met. They've looked at it, and they've looked at it again. But there has been a general commitment to relook at that once the facility is open.
And will we follow up with them on that to make sure that gets done? Yes, thank you.
I might add, too, that Jenny and Rosa and I serve on StanCog, and this has been discussed multiple times there. So there's discussion surrounding that. I see, thank you very much, Jalen. I see Councilmember Ricky's hand raised.
Jalen, can you confirm if the sound study that Caltrans did was post change of design or pre-change of design of the grade?
Yeah, my understanding is it was both. And so they did look at, and I know there's a difference of opinion in the community, but they did look at both.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know. Are we in comment time or question time? I'm sorry.
Well, you know, we passed questions and went to the public and now it's comment. If you have a question, feel free.
That was it. I just wanted to make some comments. That's all right.
Okay, we're in comment time. Go ahead.
Perfect. Thanks, Jalen, by the way. But this neighborhood, it's a great neighborhood. It's filled with hardworking, really good people. And the construction of this new freeway has caused a huge amount of stress, and the neighborhood's been very tolerant of, a stretch of freeway that's going to improve our overall community a lot. Unfortunately, the need for a sound wall is a given. It's just simple common sense, and it's something that we need to push for and we need to get done. And so all these hardworking people have been coming to these meetings trying to convince us to do the right thing, and I just want everyone to know we need to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Madrigal.
Just want to echo the comments by Councilmember Ricky, and just let the council know we really need to make a commitment as a council to build this sound wall to mitigate the impact that this, transportation project that we're leading as a city, mitigate the impact it's having on this neighborhood, this community. I think it's only fair. I think that we shouldn't just simply say that, oh, if the sound study doesn't merit it. We should be a bit more responsive, dare I say flexible, when we're trying to take on these major projects that impact neighborhoods. And so, to that end, I hope that we can also get in either a timeline or an update back on when the sound study can be performed again.
All right, thank you. As I mentioned, there's many discussions surrounding this topic at StanCog also. With Supervisor Withrow involved. All right, so at this time, are there any other comments from council members? All right, I have a resolution approving a second amendment to the Construction Management Services Agreement with WSP USA Incorporated for the State Route 132 West Freeway Expressway Phase 1 project, increasing the agreement amount by $621,745 plus $62,175 in additional services if needed from $11,764,074 for a total amount not to exceed $12,447,994 and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the second amendment to agreement. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Vice Mayor Wright, second by Councilmember Scudia Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen?
Aye, so it carries 6-0. Next item is item 13. Consider approving a Sixth Amendment to the Professional Design Services Agreement for the State Route 132 West Freeway Expressway Phase 1 project with Daca Engineering, increasing the agreement amount by $154,858 from $9,245,225 to a total amount not to exceed $9,400,083. Is there any additional staff report? Not at this time. Are there any questions from the council regarding item 13? Seeing none, any comments from the public regarding item 13? Seeing none, comments from council? All right, I have a resolution approving a Sixth Amendment to the Professional Design Services Agreement for the State Route 132 West Freeway Expressway Phase 1 project with Daca Engineering, increasing the agreement amount by $154,858 from $9,245,225 to a total amount not to exceed $9,400,083 and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the Sixth Amendment. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Approved. A motion by Vice Mayor Wright and a second by Councilmember Canoyer. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen?
Aye, so it carries 6-0. Next is council member comments and reports. Do any of the council members have any comments and reports?
I do, Mayor.
All right, Councilmember Scudia Brayton.
Thank you. I had a wonderful opportunity last week to attend the Mobility California Summit. I was among hundreds of other individuals interested in learning more about California roadways and how to best improve them. It was a great dialogue with many very bright people throughout California who brought to the table just examples of how road improvements are working in their area. There was a multitude of subjects covered. One of the conversations was, what do California roadways look like post-pandemic? Another one that I thought was very interesting was various options on dealing with congestion. What does that look like? Perhaps having toll roads, and what does having tolling a road, how does that impact a community? How does that impact a community that's disadvantaged? What revenue does that bring in? It was a very interesting concepts, very interesting conversations. Learned a great deal. So if anyone wishes to know more about it, I'd be more than happy to share that information with you. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Councilmember Ricky.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, to the family of Paul Chavez, I just again want to express my deepest sympathies, and I just want you to know that the council, we hear you and we care about what you have to say. I also want to talk about a tour I took last week. I took a tour of Monterey's waste facility with some community members. And they have a sorting facility that's a real community asset. It creates thousands of tons of recyclable raw materials. And to me, is just the most impressive part of what they do there is that they have a long-term goal of zero waste in their community. And I think that Modesto needs to find the courage to aspire to a zero waste future. We used to be a national leader in recycling, but we've lost our way. And you know, one of the coolest things I saw there was a recycling center that was run by disabled veterans. And the way it worked is that we've got our bulky item pickup, and I think everybody knows what that is, but if you don't, it's a way that homeowners can put out like old furniture or broken appliances and that aren't going to fit in their garbage can. You get to do that twice a year. Well, in Monterey, what they do is they actually let the veterans come by and get first dibs on all that stuff out there. And what they do is they take it back to their center, they rehabilitate the items, and then they sell it back to the community. And last year they made over $1 million in profits. Super cool. Anyway, so that's something I definitely want to look at. I hopefully the council can look at it too. I also want to talk about abandoned commercial buildings. We've been talking about this for a while. They're magnets for crime, for blight, for drug use, for vandalism. I mean, all of us are aware of the big box stores that have been vacant for years, places like the Old Osh on Sisk or Toys R Us or the Save Mart on Pellendale. But they're not the only problems. You know, there's the gas station on Needham that's a much smaller commercial property, but it's been abandoned for 15 years. And they're really closely connected to neighborhoods, and they have an outsized negative impact when it comes to these kind of crimes like blight and drug use and vandalism. So getting an ordinance done for this is really important to me, and I think that we've waited long enough. Thanks so much, Kate.
Thank you. Any other comments from council members or reports?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
All right. Councilmember Madrigal?
Just wanted to share with the folks that were advocating about Muni Golf Course, that I did follow up and send a memo to the city manager requesting that a update presentation be made at a future council meeting, the next available council meeting. So I sent them a memo requesting that presentation on the status of Muni Golf Course be made at a council meeting. And I'm waiting for his formal reply on when he believes that city staff will be able to make that presentation to the council. And then obviously, in response to your requests to move forward on that piece of city property and your urging as to finding out what the status is so far. Also wanted to share with you that I've been talking with different city staff about exploring a policy, a new ordinance, similar to what's been done in other cities, such as Artesia or even South Sacramento, regarding the topic of catalytic converter theft. And what we as a city could do to pass ordinances that basically enhance the penalties for a catalytic converter theft. It's an issue that's impacting people in our community, and so if there's a policy or an ordinance that we as a city can say we're going to adopt this to send the message that catalytic converter theft will not be tolerated in our community, and you will face these additional enhancements if you get caught, then that's, I think, a solution worth exploring. All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next is city manager comments and reports. Does the city manager have any? All right, thank you. Next is unfinished business, item 17. Consider accepting the Forward Together Working Group recommendations report and directing staff to carry out the appropriate next steps. We'll have a report from Allison Van Gilder. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Get the presentation. Thank you so much, Scotty. Good evening, Mayor and Council. It is my pleasure to present the Forward Together recommendations report for your consideration tonight. Over the past 14 months, the 27 members of this work group have worked tirelessly with the community to develop the recommendations contained in the report, which was presented to you at the community workshop held on August 11th. This body of work contains a series of recommendations to improve the police-community relationship in Modesto. Here is a summary of the report themes: policies and practices that support safety, fairness, and equity throughout the department and the community. Alternate response models that ensure the right type of response and resources are applied to a situation. Accountability for police conduct, decisions, and how they impact the Modesto community. A significant amount of research and discussion has been performed by the Forward Together work group to get to this point in the process. Council tasked the work group with taking a deeper dive into the issues surrounding these themes shown on the diagram and developing a carefully curated list of recommendations for further analysis. As a result of these efforts, Council has a powerful roadmap to more fully evaluate and develop these recommendations toward implementation. It should be noted that in the area of alternate response models, some of the work group's recommendations have already been implemented with great success, such as the Community Health and Assistance Team, known as CHAT. Moving forward, the main focus will be on identifying sustained funding for these programs and a continued effort to add services. In addition, over 20 police department personnel have attended the 40-hour crisis intervention training, and 20 more staff will be going through the training in October. Next steps. In addition to Council's acceptance of the report tonight, staff is also seeking Council direction to move forward with next steps. Based on the Forward Together work group's recommendations, it is staff's intent to first provide a comprehensive overview of the accountability-related recommendations at a council workshop in September. Information regarding the development of a community oversight board and the implementation of an independent auditor will be provided by city staff and identified experts on the topic. The recommendation to initially focus on the civilian oversight board and an independent auditor is based on the fact that these elements provide the foundation for accountability moving forward. By implementing the community review board and independent auditor first, we will then have the mechanisms in place to conduct the independent review of the various policies and practices identified in the report, as well as independent review and analysis of critical incidents, including officer-involved shootings and use of force. As indicated in the Forward Together recommendations report, it is the work group's belief that these two key elements will, quote, be the best path toward improving transparency and ultimately building trust between the community and the city. At the September workshop, staff will be looking for direction on the concept of the Community Oversight Board and independent auditor for further development and subsequent council approval. Once directed, staff estimates this work will span a couple of months, and an item will be brought back to council seeking approval to implement the Community Oversight Board and independent auditor processes in December. At this time, staff's recommendation is a resolution accepting the Forward Together Working Group recommendations report and directing staff to carry out the appropriate next steps as outlined in the previous slide. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much for your presentation. Does council have any questions of staff? Councilmember Ricky.
Do you have like just a kind of general timeline of if we were to approve this implementation of the things on the list in the previous slide?
So
I'm not looking to hold you anything. I'm just a ballpark.
So if the plan proceeds as proposed, Councilmember Ricky, we would be bringing you a proposal in December to consider implementing, which would then mean that we would be moving forward with an RFP process for the independent auditor, and we would initiate the proposed framework of establishing the Community Oversight Board, which would, you can imagine, there'd be an application process, there would be a period of time for individuals in the community to submit their applications. We would have a review of those. I would say, it's probably not unreasonable to look towards maybe March for some of these things to kind of get through the process. I would defer to the city manager if he has a different idea, but that would be our goal.
That seems like a good answer. Thank you.
Any other questions from council members? Vice Mayor Wright?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Allison, for presenting this. My question is, on the new implementation of the items that that this report wants us to do, is there new costs to the city, funding that we need to come up with to implement some of these?
Yes, there would likely be some additional costs, particularly associated with the services of the independent auditor. I think that the workshop will provide an opportunity to discuss those estimates and provide some examples of what other municipalities have to pay for those types of services.
Great. I think that would be important, especially if we beef up chat and heart and some of the other items that were addressed in the report, to really see what type of funding we're looking at to add to our response teams. Thank you.
Right, Councilmember Knoyer.
Yes, my question is regarding the Oversight Board and the Independent Auditor. Is this mean that, it sounds like it's already been accepted, I mean, I know it's a recommendation, but is it taken for granted that the council is going to say that they accept the auditor and the independent?
No, Councilmember Knoyer. So what we're proposing to do is have a workshop to bring the council up to speed in a similar fashion that the Forward Together work group was. If at the workshop the council directs us to form a citizen review committee or move forward with an independent auditor, that's what we'd be bringing back in December.
Okay, because there's going to be 3 new council members that are going to make this decision, separate from, some of us that have sat on this for the length of time. And so that's kind of a little bit of concern of mine. Hopefully that they're given an opportunity to really realize what having independent auditor means and having an oversight board. And I really appreciate the time that the people put into it. When we say that the citizens of Modesto care, they really do care. I mean, you put that much time. But because this is a really big decision to make, and there's going to be half of your council practically changed, I hope that the workshop really takes a lot of time to bring them up to speed and to really understand that. That's my comment.
Yeah, I'll just follow up on that. We're very cognizant of the timing. We will be reaching out to the candidates who are vying for the seats that will be vacated, encourage them to attend the workshop, but we also feel like that we couldn't wait any longer in order to bring these recommendations forward. So we are cognizant of the timing, but we need to make sure that we keep this train moving as well. So we will make sure that they know the date of the workshop and the time of the workshop, and really encourage them to attend so that they're up to speed with the remaining council members.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from council members? Seeing none, comments from the public. Bianca Lopez?
Hi, good evening. I had a couple of questions, I think they might have been answered. Did you have a specific date in September in which the staff will hold a special workshop to continue to inform the council members before recommending to move forward with the Civilian Review Board?
I can answer that. Yes, it's scheduled for Thursday, September 29th at 5:30 p.m.
Great, thank you. I appreciate you taking initiative and not waiting on new council members to come on board before making this call. I do agree with you that it is very important and this issue must be taken action upon without delay. So I really want to say thank you for reaching out to candidates who might be, joining the council, but implementing something now or at least moving forward is the right path. So I just want to say I support that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments from the public? All right, seeing none in person or online. Comments from council members? I will just make, Councilmember Ricky, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to again thank the Forward Together committee for their work on this really difficult topic. It's a very important issue in our community, as we heard tonight. And I think that the recommendations they've made have the potential of really bridging the gap between the community and the city and law enforcement, and have the real potential to make our community a much better, more united place. And I'm just very excited for that possibility and hopeful that we can implement these well thought out recommendations. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just one brief comment in that I feel like this item 17 is a little bit of the rest of the story, and I know that nothing that I can say will help family members that have lost loved ones. I can say that this council takes their comments very seriously, and we will also take the work of the Forward Together work group very seriously to work together with law enforcement to make changes that will help our community. So I want to thank everyone again for your efforts. So at this time, we have a resolution accepting the Forward Together Working Group Recommendations report and directing staff to carry out the appropriate next steps. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Ricky.
Second.
The second by Vice Mayor Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer? Aye. Vice Mayor Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutierrez?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen?
Aye. Carries 6-0. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is new business, item 18. Consider approving the plans and specifications for the Briggsmore Avenue and Orangeburg Avenue pavement rehabilitation project, accepting the bid and awarding a contract to United Pavement Maintenance Incorporated of Houston, California, in the amount of $7,251,603, authorizing the Director of Utilities to approve change orders up to the cumulative amount of $725,160, approving an agreement with TRC Engineers Incorporated of Lathrop, California, for construction management and inspection services in an amount not to exceed $474,378 plus $47,438 for additional services, if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $521,816, and amending the fiscal year 2022-2023 capital improvement program budget in the amount of $1,408,995. And welcome, Jalen French.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry for the long item there. Good evening, members.
It's not nearly as long as all the resolutions are going to be, so hang on.
So good evening, Jalen French, Director of Community and Economic Development. As was read, the item before you is to consider awarding a construction contract for 3 separate projects for the Briggsmore, Orangeburg, and then Empire Road projects. The lowest bidder is United Pavement Maintenance out of Houston, California, and to approve an agreement for construction management and inspection services associated with this very large kind of combined Measure L project. So as depicted on this slide, again, 3 separate portions of this overall project. Briggsmore Avenue from McHenry to Oakdale, as well as Orangeburg from Coffee to Oakdale. Those will be pavement rehabilitation projects, resurfacing projects, as well as ADA improvements, so curb ramps and other things, as well as some sidewalk installation on Empire near a county pocket area, but in the city, associated with the county's ATP grant that they were awarded. So 3 different projects and associated with this overall project. So we'll go through each one briefly, although I did speak to them. So when you highlight Briggsmore, it is a $7.2 million total construction project, but with contingency construction management services and other items, it's about $8.5 million total. Again, all Measure L funding. The Briggsmore portion is about $5 million of that, and again, that is a pavement rehabilitation, that is road resurfacing, as well as ADA curb ramps, striping, signage, and signal upgrades. When you look at the Orangeburg and Empire segments, they total about $2.8 million. Both will have pavement rehabilitation, both will have ADA curb ramps, striping, and the Empire project will include addition of curbs, gutters, and sidewalk. So we did break out just the ADA portion. We're looking at 87 curb ramps. ADA improvements are something important to the city, but need to be associated with pavement rehabilitation projects like this. So we're looking at 87 different curb ramps across the 3 projects. That portion totals $670,000 of the $8.5 million. The city did receive 4 qualified proposals. The engineer's estimate that we established prior to receiving the proposals was $7.2 million. United Pavement Maintenance was the lowest bidder at 0.72% above the engineer's estimate, $7.25 million. The other 3 proposals that we received were all higher than the engineer's estimates, from 2% to 13%. And again, this project, because it's a combined project, $7 million project, will include construction management and inspection services. So with that, be happy to answer any questions that the council or the public may have.
All right, thank you. Any council members have questions?
I do, Mayor.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Thank you, Jalen. So I do have a concern between Oakdale Road and McHenry. There's a lot of, on the sides of the roads, there's just a lot of dirt, a lot of weeds that grow up. Are we going to be addressing on how we can fix that with this project?
The pavement rehabilitation project will not address, the shoulders and I assume some of that's MID property.
MID would be in the center, and they actually do a pretty good job on keeping it really clean compared to, what we're able to do because of lack of finances. So, and so if we're not going to be looking at that at this time, is there a plan in the works for down the road? What are we going to do with those areas, between the homeowners and the Briggsmore?
Yeah, you're right. Again, not something addressed as part of this project, and I know it's been a topic raised before. We can continue to consider it at the staff level and see what options we do have to address those issues that are not landscaped and determine how we can maintain them.
I think that's something we need to look at because Briggsmore is a street that probably almost every person in Modesto goes down at least once or twice a week. And I know we did a $130,000 cleanup on it, which we did a great job, but the weeds are back up again. Tumbleweeds between Sunrise and Coffee are, they're 3 or 4 feet high, and it's just a matter of when they're going to die and start blowing around. So it'd be great if we can come up with a plan on how we can permanently fix those side areas so that, number one, it costs us less to maintain down the road, and number two, it looks very, halfway decent for our citizens.
Noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions from council regarding item 18? All right, open to the public. I do not see anyone in person or online to speak regarding item 18. Any council member comments? Seeing none, I have 4 resolutions I need to read. Resolution approving the plans and specifications for the Briggsmore Avenue and Orangeburg Avenue pavement rehabilitation project, accepting the bid and awarding a contract to United Pavement Maintenance Incorporated of Houston, California, in the amount of $7,251,603, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. A resolution authorizing the Director of Utilities to approve change orders up to the cumulative amount of $725,160 for the Briggsmore Avenue and Orangeburg Avenue pavement rehabilitation project. Resolution approving an agreement with TRC Engineers Incorporated of Lathrop, California for construction, management, and inspection services for the Briggsmore Avenue and Orangeburg Avenue pavement rehabilitation project in an amount not to exceed $470,378 plus $47,438 for additional services if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $521,816, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. And I might add that in the previous resolution, the $725,160 is 10% of the original contract price. The 4th resolution, amending the fiscal year 2022-2023 capital improvement program CIP budget, project number 101246, number 101248, and number 101250, in the amount of $1,408,995, and increasing the transfer from the Measure L Local Road Tax Fund to fund the project, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to take the necessary steps to implement the provisions of this resolution. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Vice Mayor Wright, second by Councilmember Scudia Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutierrez?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye, so it carries 6-0. Thank you very much. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, we will be going into closed session at this time, and we will report out at the end of closed session. Thank you very much.